Hi, my name is Max Thompson. I'm the chef here at Tavolo Restaurant in Dorchester, Mass, just south of Boston. And I'm going to show you guys how to make meatballs today. You can chop the veg for this up a little bit, but we do a really big batch, so I like to use the Roku. I think it works really well. I'm going to start with like a little onion, a little carrot, fennel, celery, a lot of garlic, shallots. It's kind of like a little acid, and a little leek, which is not exactly a typically Italian thing, but that's all right. So we're going to throw the top on. I like to pulse it, because if you turn it on really high, it just kind of like, some of it gets really mushy and the rest of it doesn't. I'm just going to pulse it for a little bit. Get a nice fine mixture. I'm going to cook this off on the stove. Let's do like enough olive oil to kind of coat the bottom of the pan. And it doesn't matter if your pan's hot or not. It's just going to, with this much veg, it's just going to sweat anyways. I add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a nice chunk of chili flake, probably like a tablespoon. Then I have a little herb sachet. It's tied up so you can take it out later. It's got a little thyme, sage, rosemary. And pop that in. I'm going to put this right on the stove and sweat it for a little while. So now we're going to saute our vegetables in our little sachet, a little olive oil. Since it was a cold pan, I just throw it on high heat. Let it go for a minute or two. Once you start to hear a little noise, see a little action, things start bubbling, you can kind of turn it down to medium. I would probably sweat these for about 10 minutes, something like that. You don't want to get any color on them. So if things look like they're browning a little bit, then just turn the heat down a little bit. Okay, they've been sweating for about 10 minutes or so. Look good. They look like ready to add the wine. I don't know, it's a quarter cup, something like that. It's not too much. I'm not doing a very big batch. Just adds a little acid to the whole flavor of the meatballs. So you got all this fat from the veal and kind of vegetal flavor, and it just kind of ties everything together. With the sweet ketchup also, and it helps balance that out. So at this point, you can crank the heat. You're just going to reduce down the wine until it's dry. Take it off, and that's it. It's important to cool your vegetable mix before you add it into your meat product and stuff, because you want to put hot stuff in with cold stuff. If you don't cook it right away, it can cause like an issue with foodborne illness. Not a big deal, very slight chance of it anyways, even if you do it. But anyways, just to be safe, cool your stuff. So now we're going to kind of put it all together. I'm using a KitchenAid just because it's kind of easier. Old school Italian would definitely use their hands. Put it in a big bowl, put a pair of gloves on, and that's it. Got about 4 pounds of meat here, a little beef and veal. I'm just going to go right in. I've got the veg mix that we cooked before. Four eggs, just kind of quick beat. Not really critical that you do a great job on this. And got a little chopped parsley. We use in a restaurant, we use like a cooked tomato product, so you could even use marinara for this. But for the home person, I switched it out to ketchup because it's easy. So I don't know, maybe like a tablespoon and a half. And then we've got to kind of soak the breadcrumbs ahead of time. So we've got a little breadcrumb and a little milk. I'm going to put just enough milk to kind of wet the breadcrumbs. You don't want them to be soggy, because it'll make your balls a little bit more difficult to roll later. They'll be a little bit too wet. So just kind of work it with your hands. And there's not a whole lot of, there's no like excess moisture left in there, and they're all pretty soggy. We'll mix that in too. I've got a little grated Parmesan cheese, which, you know, can't really have meatballs without Parmesan. Also have to season it. The meat's not seasoned, the veg mix is, the breadcrumbs aren't, Parmesan's a little salty, ketchup has a little bit of salt in it, so I'm not going to go crazy, but, you know, something like that. A little pepper, and that's it. This is the paddle attachment. Use the dough hook, it'll take a little bit of time, it'll get overworked. Or if you use the whisk, it just won't work and it'll probably go flying out of the pot. And start it on very low. And you don't want to overwork it. It makes them really dense. It's something about working the meat that when you go to cook them, they'll be really heavy. They won't be quite as airy and fluffy and like really nice and easy to cut. That's it. And now we're ready to roll our balls. As you can see, it's pretty well mixed. It's not too wet. It's not really sticky either. You know, you can kind of comes out of your hands easy, and that's just from the milk and the breadcrumb mix. This says olive oil. One ball. Two, and we're going to throw these in the oven. You could just throw these right into a sauce and cook them for a long time there, kind of like they'll get really soft and tender. But I'm going to just throw them in a really hot oven, about 475, 500 for about 7 to 8 minutes. Get a nice little crust on top, and then I'm going to add them to my sauce for later. So our meatballs have been in for about 10 minutes or so, or 7 or 8 minutes, sorry. Should be just about done. Then what we're going to do is we're going to transfer them to a pot with an edge, and we're going to put a little sauce on them and just finish them in that sauce. And about 10 minutes from now or so, we're ready to go. You're ready to enjoy your meatballs. Just throw these right in the oven. In about 10 minutes, we're good. So it's time to kind of finish the dish, and you know what goes better with meatballs than spaghetti. Pull out our meatballs. I feel it's important to cook the pasta a little bit in the sauce. Kind of absorbs that. Like pasta is very porous; it just keeps sucking up whatever you're cooking, and whether it be water or sauce or butter or oil or anything. So our meatballs are hot. Pasta's done. Drain the pasta water off. Right into a little sauce. A little toss and finish it. I always finish it with a little bit of Parmesan. Just right in at the last second. Take it off the heat. Oh, boom. Oh, sorry. Always check how it tastes. Might need a little salt. Give it a little bit of twirl. Right there. Got our meatballs with a nice bottom. It's a little flat from cooking. Doesn't roll around on the plate. Sauce. Sauce right over the top. Fish. A little Parmesan. A little drizzle of olive oil. Okay. And that's it. Spaghetti balls.